Good morning. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professionals IGP. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professionals IGP. Thank you all for joining with us and staying with us till the end. Honorable knowledge seekers, today I am your host for the morning. My name is Chanakul Huri. I am from Bangladesh. Dear knowledge seekers, I am proud to be registered to IGP. IGP Apply Non-Profit Organization is a social and ISO certificate international level food education and training institute. In the last years, we have already served 35 million knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally equivalent. We are connected to more than 450 plus profession, 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Profession, IGP and ISO 9001, 2015, 10,000 to 2018. It's a training facility for skill development which was launched in 2020. And it's generally complicated to meet demand in the global level market by providing professional qualification. The Institute of Global Profession is an education institute that provides social and globally recognized and development. We serve students and community resources providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to give one's skill just by acquiring formal education, so we provide effective training and consultation to generate professional information all over the world. We distribute our services locally, national, international to students, job seekers, job holders, and also for learners through respective campus, location, and distance learning platforms. We are an occupational development institution. IGP is one of the famous online institutes from about the world. Our vision is education is not a business product; it's a part of our human right. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminars, quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to offer more than 100 premium services for free, like creating our portfolio. It's a reasonable cover letter, motivation letter, word knowledge solution for gathering general knowledge, which can upgrade all day, fixed learning, game websites, free courses, converter site, and many more. We help to empower you to learn to meet the expectation of brands with a highly skilled people. We implement several training programs and offline online courses for youth learners and learners by professional trainers, speakers, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kinds of people to promote the education of their abilities and personally exploring knowledge is a crucial from the Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love, light, and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and serve them with good research and practice method. We must have a genuine concern for the learners. We represent more diversity, growth, and innovation and record. To lead a session with professional passion and integrity, IGP members are committed to offering effective, best quality services and continuing improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill levels and well. Before I move to the next, let me know and don't forget to share, tag, and mention it from the comment box. Your support is very well noticed. Thank you. Moving to the next is the content support. We have already completed 1,599 webinars successfully. Wow. Dear IGP speakers, participants, and knowledge at this moment, this is a very important message for you all. Each engine is on our website www.eduigp.com. On the website, we have surprise for everyone who will be benefited. We already launched our new website where you can find all our previous activities together with lots of new features. But one extra point is that without an account or login, you cannot enjoy our services. So, create your account for once with the proper information. Not the proper information, you will enjoy all features. It means that you cannot do anything here. From now on, you have to participate in live quiz competition on our website or replace site. You have to join directly on our website. Now you can check all of our previous webinars with verified certificates. Now easier and time oriented because after this session, you will not provide you with any code for certification. You have to take part in one exam. After that, if you pass, you will receive your certificate. Otherwise, not. But you can take part in an exam unlimited because if you are an IGP speaker, you can download all your previous certificate, speakership certificate, you are a host of an IGA, you can download the certificate of credibility. If you are an online quiz competition, you can download a certificate of participation. If you are selected for a lifetime membership, then you can download a certificate of lifetime membership easily. Besides this, if you participate in any web function which organizes campus support the IGP, you can download that. Also, you can instantly prepare and download 18 types of instant certificate from our website within a minute. Certificate of Global Professional Membership, Certificate of Global Influencer during the pandemic, Certificate of Active Knowledge, Certificate of Social Activities during the pandemic, Certificate of Achievement Achievement Knowledge Campaign 2020, Certificate of Achievement Achievement Knowledge Campaign 2021, Certificate of Achievement Knowledge Campaign 2022, Certificate of Webinar Series 1 Authentic Assessment Teaching Learning, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 2 Teaching English as a Foreign Language and Assessment, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 2 Digital Classroom Engagement Tool, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series for the New Intensive Education, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series for Upskilling Organization Leadership in Managerial Skill, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 6 Trends and Innovation in Mathematics Education, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 7 Research and Comprehensive Method, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 8 Art in Teaching Special Program in the Arts, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 9 21st Century Tools in Matching Mathematics, Certificate of IGP Corporate Ambassador, Certificate of IGP Campus Ambassador, which you can prepare and download within a minute. From now on, you can participate in 1000 plus international level quizzes with verified certificates, teaching tips for teachers, helps for parents, help tips for teens, gamification tools for teachers. You can also join IGP. You can check out our 50 plus premium services website quickly and many more. Dear IGP Malaysia, we promised previously, but like we are late sending you on time. This is a great opportunity to collect your previous credentials. Use our wishes from our website. Now you can enroll as a person and everything. You can check your dashboard for all webinar details. It's cordial request to you to check all button on our website. Surely I can see you'll be benefited. Thank you. But not that you are an account or login, you cannot enjoy services. At present, we are going to start our 1600 program name make program program name Purposive Communication. And our today's speaker is Dr. Wilma David Perez. Before I move to the hand over to the stage to ma'am, I want to share a bit later about to our speaker, Professor Philippine Merchant Marine Academy PMMMA San Ediso Zembels. Now is a very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Now is a very important moment for me to invite our speaker to, to IGP with her presentation. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me? Hello, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Hello,
I
ma'am.
am
Now the
Dr.
speaker is
Wilma.
yours, ma'am. Over
Hello,
to you.
ma'am. Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to give thanks to the organizers of the IGP for inviting me again for this afternoon's talk titled Purposive Communication. Actually, this is my third time to be with you, working with you. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Wilma David Paras, an English professor from the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, San Narciso, Zambales. I graduated from the Holy Angel University with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Education, major in English. And for 8 years, I was a foreign language teacher at Dubai, United Arab Emirates. I taught at United International Private School and Sharjah British School, respectively, all in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. I pursued my postgraduate degree and obtained Master of Arts in Education, major in English language teaching. I obtained my Doctor of Education in 2018 with academic excellence. From 2012 to date, I've been teaching at the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy in San Narciso, Zambales, which is the only maritime school in the Philippines that is subsidized by the government. Again, good morning. Share ko na. All right. I would like to begin with the history of oral communication. The history of communication can be traced back since the origin of speech since 100,000 years BC. And the use of technology in communication may be considered since the first use of symbols about 30,000 years BCE. During that, uh, and then speech was developed about 200,000 years ago. Symbols were developed about 30,000 years ago. Writing was developed about 7,000 years ago. When speech originated around 500,000 BCE, communication was changed, but the system was not perfect and needed assistance. While verbal communication was used in ancient times, symbols and images were still used to portray information. The earliest proven form of this is cave painting. And then the evolution of the brain differentiated humans from animals. Here is the picture of the evolution of the brain, which has differentiated humans from animals, as among other things. It allowed humans to master a very efficient form of communication that is called speech. And take note that the oldest form of communication that we have is talking or making sounds, drawing or painting, dancing, acting, and using symbols. FOXP2 regulates genes involved in the development of tissues such as brain, lung, and gut. FOXP2 is required for proper brain and lung development. For the information of everybody, FOXP2 gene provides instructions for making a protein called forkhead BOXP2. This protein is a transcription factor, which means that it controls the activity of other genes. Um, let's move on. Now, since my topic is all about purposive communication, let's have to unlock first what is meant by purposive. Purposive means goal directed or done with a purpose. Example, teaching is a purposive activity. All right. So we have a purpose why we teach. Everything we do in life has a purpose. Why do we study? Our purpose is to uh, earn a living someday, to help alleviate poverty, etc. Okay, I am reminded of one of my uh, favorite books that I love to read. It's titled Purpose Driven Life. It's authored by Rick Warren. I love that book, and it garnered a lot of awards and became a best-selling book worldwide. So let's have first communication. What is communication? It generally takes place for serving five purposes such as informing, expressing feelings, imagining, influencing, and meeting social expectations. Communication can be looked upon as a personal process taking into feelings, attitudes, and ideas so that their goals are met. It allows us to receive, to transmit, and retain messages and information. Every day we communicate. As we wake up in the morning, we already communicate. One way of our communication is talking to God, giving Him thanks that we are alive, that He has given us another day to give us a new life. And then for the whole day, we communicate to our workplace, to our family, to our homes, to wherever we go until the we are in the morning, until we go to sleep. We communicate again. So it's part and parcel of our life. That is communication. There's the speaker and the listener, as shown in this picture. Now, communication is the process of people reacting to the various attitudes and behaviors of other individuals. Let's put them together, purposive and communication, to unlock the difficulty of what purposive communication is all about. Purposive communication is defined as a type of communication that takes place with the purpose in mind. So, when we communicate, we already have that purpose in mind. Why do we communicate? Whether it is verbal or non-verbal, whether it is written or oral. So, we go to the introduction of purposive communication. Purposive communication is the practice of using different communication forms like writing, speaking, and presenting to various purposes associated with different target audiences. It is the main mode of communication that is used in different organizations for the seamless transport of messages, data, and ideas. There are five major purposes of purposive communication. First one is to inform. Second one is to express feelings, to imagine, to influence, and the last one is to meet social expectations. How do we inform when we communicate? We tell them what is vague for our audience, for our end users. Okay, we inform them of what is it is all about so that they will know and be able to understood what we are talking about. There is that objective why we communicate, why we inform them. Okay. Number two is to express feelings. We communicate to express our feelings. For example, we are happy, so we can go to the chat box and chat our friends to express that we are happy. When we are sad, it's also the same. We can express our feelings in the form of writing, in the form of talking to our friends, in the form of email, sending emails, okay, in a form of hugging and kissing, for example, no. But to other culture, to other countries, hugging is not allowed because it depends on our cultural acceptability. Another purpose of purposive communication is to imagine. We imagine the unimaginable. Okay, we had this purpose, this aim in life, how we can bring our knowledge, our our ideas in order for them to imagine what we want to convey. The fourth one is to influence. When we influence, we persuade. We persuade in the sense that we want to get the attention of our readers. For example, we want to get the attention of our audience. We want to get the attention of our um, uh, of, of of the people involved, the listener, or the one who will give us feedback. Okay, and in that way they will believe us on if our words, our um, yes, our words are true enough to be understood, or to be trust. Are we trustworthy? What I mean is, are we trustworthy? Are we competent to be influential to others? Okay, number five is to meet social expectations. How do we meet social expectations? Like nowadays, we have the social media, we have the internet. There is a big influence on our communication in our day-to-day basis. We have the Facebook and Twitter, etc. So to meet social expectations, and it becomes easy for us to become communicative in these five major purposes of purposive communication. Let's move on. There are common types of purposive communications. Number one, talking intelligently on a subject of import. Of course, when we talk intelligently, we know for a fact that we know very well what are we gonna say. We know our subject per se. Okay, and the number two, reporting on group work and or assignments. Okay, it goes as well when we report. We prepared a lot before the report comes. When the teacher gives us assignment, we report as a group or individually. Right. Number three is writing and delivering a formal speech. So when we write, is another common type of purposive communication. We write, we convey our what we want to impart in a form of writing and deliver example of writing essays, writing manuscript, writing instructional packages or materials, etc., or even writing a poem or composing a poem such as that. So and delivering formal speeches like speeches for for certain purposes. Okay, like when where am I? So, number four, writing minutes of meetings and similar documents. When we write minutes of the meetings, we summarize what transpired during the meeting, what happened during the meeting, and there are things that you need to sequence from the start of the meeting until the end, until the meeting will be adjourned, and writing of similar documents followed. Number five is preparing research or technical paper. Of course, when we prepare research, we this is very tasking among the other types of purposive communication. Okay, because this is technical paper. We cannot do it in just one sitting. We need to browse a lot, to read a lot, to research a lot, to come out with a very good output of the research. Number six is making an audiovisual or web page presentation. We know this very well for this generation that audiovisual aids are very important, and the audience has or the listener has only, according to research, they have only 5 minutes to listen to you because they will get bored. Your listeners will not become interested anymore in listening to you when you do not have the audio visual, especially the visual presentation. So these are the six common types of purposive communication. Now we go to the next part. It's the different types of communication skills that are used in such forms of purposive communications. First one is listening, second is speaking, third is reading, fourth is writing, and fifth is viewing. These are the basic skills of communication. When we listen, there's a communication that takes place because there is a difference between hearing and listening. When we listen, there is an intent idea that we need to grasp all the details that we need to grasp. Unlike hearing, we hear only words, like for example, hearing music or the noise outside. So you are not so mindful about what is going around. So that one is listening. Number two is speaking. This is the most commonly. This is the most. I'm not saying that the others are not important, but is speaking is the oldest form of communication because we make sounds, we communicate to others. There are words that comes out from our mouth. So we speak our thoughts, we speak our minds to others. That way we communicate with a purpose as well. When we read, the third one is reading. When we read, there are two things that we need to take into consideration. Do we read with understanding, or we do we read just for skimming, just to read, to pass the time? So reading is also very important because one of the book that I've read, it's titled "Reading Maketh a Man," writing a full man. And it says that you will be gauged 5 years from now, you will be gauged as to what book you have read. because whatever comes out from your mind, you talk it out because you read that particular story, for example, that particular uh, article from a certain book or that story. Okay, so let's go to the fourth one, writing. So writing is also one of the communication skills, the types of communication skills that are used in purposive communication. Um, Writing is also very important, just like the others, listening, speaking, reading, because writing is documented. Okay, not unlike speaking. When you speak, unless it is not recorded, there is no evidence that you said it. But in writing, there is, it is, since it is written, it is documented, and you can be sued based on the writing you have wrote. Okay. And number five is viewing. This is also the last form of purposive communication. When we view movies, uh, we evaluate, we assess the movie after we viewed it. Is it nice? Is it interesting? Is it an open-ended story, or is it purposeful, or you don't like that, your money is just wasted for that film, etc. So you are to evaluate what is the movie all about after viewing it, or after um, seeing some clips, etc. Okay, so let's go to the next one, oral versus purposive communications. Okay, elements can evaluate the two and bring out the differences between the two forms of communication. Number one, communication mode. In the case of casual oral communication, the mode of communication is speaking. As I was saying a while ago, the oldest form of communication is speaking, it is talking, because you are making sounds. The individuals can communicate with each other, excuse me, casually and without worrying about the fact that they have to maintain a particular hierarchy or so on. This is not in the case of purposive communications, as it can have several modes such as written as well as oral. Individuals can talk about the phone calls or can also choose different modes such as seminars, meetings, and others to communicate through the channel of oral communication. For written, have a number of options such as emails, chats, and others. Let's go to number two, structure. For casual oral communication, there is no such structure or format used. As mentioned earlier, the speaker is free to speak his or her ideas at his or her will. The speaker usually has a casual approach and does not have to be formal in attitude. In the case of purposive communication, a particular structure and format are used for sharing an idea or a message. If it is an email or a notice, it is essential to follow the right structure of the email, such as the salutation, the greetings, and others, in order to maintain professional decorum. Similar is the case of chats and other written communication. Because nowadays, chats is very much used in the messenger and other, as compared to other written communication. Nowadays, we have chats, we have Facebook, we have Reels. What else we have now? We have Instagram, we have Twitter, etc. Next. Third one is the feedback. There is no such requirement of formal feedback in the case of casual oral communication. Even the feedback is attained instantly. When you are speaking to someone, the person responds to your message in front of you, right? And also offers you feedback instantly. He can reply instantly over it. Okay, there is an interaction between the speaker and the listener. Okay, this is what we call feedback. Uh, Does the listener understood what you've talked about? And he will be able to give you a feedback, and it goes back to the speaker. Now, when you are having a purposive communication, the feedback depends a lot on the mode of communication that you have selected. For example, if you are having a communication with the other person face to face or through a phone call, there are chances that you can get instant feedback. But when it is a written communication, such as through email, there are high chances that you might get feedback after a couple of hours or sometimes even after a few days, in some cases, after 1 week or so. Now, of course, there are also several written communication channels, such as chat applications, where the feedback is achieved instantly. Number four, record. Usually, there is no chance of maintaining any kind of record in the case of casual oral communication. When two people are speaking to each other casually, there is no such requirement of maintaining any record, even when there is something to remember. The listener reminds it in the mind, and there is no such requirement of maintaining a physical record of it. In contrast to oral communication, purposive communication maintains a record of what is being spoken or what messages are being shared, even when it is a meeting where the form of communication is oral. There is a person who notes down the minutes of the meeting to maintain the record. This is the communication process. Okay. You can see two people involved here, the speaker and the listener. The speaker is the sender of the message, and the message is directed to a channel or a medium, and it is received and decoded by the receiver. And barriers that comes along are noise, other sounds that will hamper or hinder the communication process, and whatever the receiver receives from the sender or from the speaker, it will become a feedback and directly goes back to the speaker, wherein the speaker will be able to evaluate if the message being delivered is excellent, good, average, poor, or very poor. Okay. Now, the next topic is the communicators. For any communication to occur, there must be at least two people involved. This is sometimes referred to as a dyad. Traditionally, communication is seen as involving a sender and a receiver of a message. However, the problem with this way of seeing a relationship is that it presents communication as a one way process. One person sends the message and the other receives it, which is a lateral or linear process. Today, it is recognized that communications are almost always complex. It means two-way processes, with people sending and receiving messages to and from each other in any interaction. Example, an interactive process. The message. The message not only means the speech used or information conveyed, but also the non-verbal messages exchanged, such as facial expressions, tone of voice, gestures, and body language. Let's go to non-verbal behavior. When we say non-verbal, no words or no sounds coming from our mouth. It is only gesture. Nonverbal behavior can convey additional information about the message spoken. In particular, it can reveal more about emotional attitudes, which may underlie the content of the speech. Noise is another factor in communication. Noise has a special meaning in communication theory. It refers to anything that distorts the message, so that what is received is different from what is intended by the speaker. While physical noise sounds can interfere with communication, such things as the use of complicated jargon, inappropriate body language, inattention, and cultural differences can be considered noise in the context of interpersonal communication. In other words, any distortions or inconsistency that might attempt to communicate can be seen as noise. Okay. Also, noise is one of the barrier in communication. Okay. Um, if there is a loud noise outside and you communicate with the low voice and you will not be able to be understood by the by the listener, the communication is failure. There's a failure in communication. Okay. Let's go to feedback. Feedback consists of messages that the receiver returns, which allows the sender to know how accurately the message has been received, as well as the receiver's reaction. The receiver may also respond to the unintentional message as well as the intentional messages. Types of feedback range from direct verbal statements. Example, say that again, I don't understand, to subtle facial expressions or changes in posture, which might indicate to the sender that the receiver feels uncomfortable with the message. The feedback also allows the sender to regulate, adapt, or repeat his/her message to make the communication a success. Context. All communication is influenced by context in which it takes place. However, apart from looking at where the interaction takes place, the example, the situational context, for example, the classroom, the office, etc., the social context need to be referred to. Example, the roles, the responsibilities, and the status of the participants. This is the context. The emotional climate and participants' expectations of interaction will complete the communication. Let's go to channel. This refers to the physical means by which the message is transferred from one person to another. As this unit is concerned with communication in a face to face context, the channels which are considered are speech and vision. Sometimes what is good for you may not be good to others. Okay? It depends on how they view things. Okay. There are 7 C's of communication. Okay. Okay. First one is courtesy. When we communicate, let's take into consideration and ask ourselves whether it be a oral or written form of communication, do we have that courtesy in us? Are we courteous, like in the introduction of our letter, when we make letters or when we chat? Yeah, do we say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as the case may be? That is courtesy. Okay. Do we give appreciation to those people who have higher ranks and who have position in our workplace? Okay. Are we courteous enough? Okay. Second one is clarity. Are we clear in our words? Let's ask ourselves before we execute written communication. Okay, even verbal communication as well, we need to be clear on what we're gonna say. We need to be clear on our topic. We need to be clear on, for example, there will be a meeting, you will be executing notice of meeting. You need to indicate the time when the meeting will be held, the place, okay, and you need to indicate also the agenda of the meeting so that the date as well is very important, when it will be. Okay, what, when, where, and why are the important questions to be answered, okay, in making clear communication. Are we clear enough, or is our message vague or not clear to others? Okay, so make a read proofread. If it is a written communication, it, proofread it, edit it, and then ask other companion or a friend to proofread it. Maybe you omit something, or you skip something, or you forgot something, and you can have others to check your grammar if you are if you are doubtful of your communication, especially written communication. All right. So let's go to conciseness. When we talk about conciseness in communication, it means exact the exactness of our communication. Or are we simple enough to be understood? Is our message concise or direct to the point? It might be you might be using flowery words or highfalutin words which are not appropriate to the communication or to the letter you are sending. Okay, even if it be it a letter, be it a debate, be it a panel discussion per se, or whatever, in a small group discussion, you need to be concise. Okay, next one is correctness. Correctness is, are we correct in our communication? I mean, you need to verify first. Maybe you might be writing there or typing there incorrect information. So you need to verify first from the higher authorities or the person involved if what you are writing is correct. All right? Because we can say that uh, more heads are better than one. Do not limit yourself to doing it your own. You ask somebody, or you ask the help of others if in case you are doubtful or you're not sure of what you're writing or what you're talking about. Okay? Correct. You need to be correct in your dealings in communication. Then the fifth one is concreteness. It is like the conciseness. It's concrete. It should be exact. Okay, no more, no less. What needs to be talked about, for example, the agenda of the meeting is only this, so you need to dwell only to those agenda. You need to be concrete. Now, consideration. What is consideration? You need to consider the time, the place, and the situation. Okay, you need to be emphatic. What do I mean of emphatic? You put your shoes on the shoes of others. Be considerate enough and not be bossy. All right. The last one is completeness. Okay. Is our message complete before executing a letter or a written communication or a research or a debate or a small group discussion or what other forms of communication? Is it complete? Am I uh, not be obliged to add some more or to include this and that before executing such? Okay, so that you will be having a good communication skill, or their communication process will be good and valid. Okay, let's go to the next type. This is types of communication. Okay, next topic is types of communication. We have two types of communication. We have verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Communication includes the use of symbols that have universal meanings and can be classified as spoken or written. Verbal or oral communication is the conveyance of ideas and information in forms that can be listened to or spoken using words. Under verbal or oral communication, we have intrapersonal communication. Okay. So don't be confused with intrapersonal communication and interpersonal communication. I'll explain and discuss the difference between the two. Let's have first intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication is expressed through self-talk. This involves personal thoughts and emotions Okay. The feedback goes back to you. Example of intrapersonal communication: writing a diary, making grocery list, writing to-do list for the day, making outlines, and even silent prayer is an example of intrapersonal communication. But others find this strange because you communicate to yourself. All right? So it is the exact opposite of interpersonal communication. Inter, from the word interpersonal. So when as teacher in our classroom, after facilitating our lesson, we have an interaction with our students. There is a student teacher question and answer portion, and the students are free to ask questions, and the teacher would be answering them. In this interpersonal communication, it is a communication between two people. This is called dyadic, or a small group of individuals, also known as small group discussion. This type of communication allows a speaker to discuss topics that interest them, or they may share a common bond with each other. Okay? There's an interaction between the speaker and the listener, or between two people, or between small group of individuals in a small group discussion. Excuse me. Showing here is the types of communication. Types of communication, we have verbal and nonverbal. Okay, we have written, oral, and visual. Okay, as the word implies, I need not to dwell much on this. Written, oral, written when you write using pen, pencil, etc. Oral, when you talk by using your mouth, and visual as you see what is flash on the screen or what is shown to you, that is visual. Okay. Verbal, that is being talked about. Non-verbal is through gestures or sign language, okay, body language, etc. No? Okay. Example of interpersonal communication are telephone calls, email writing, letters, or dialogue. No? Okay. Now we go to elements of interpersonal communication. Many researchers have broken down interpersonal communication into a number of elements. These are communicators, both sender and the receiver. Goes the message, the noise, the feedback, content, and channel. Third types of communication is public communication. Public communication is one person speaking in front of an audience. The magnitude or size may be limited or numerous. The speaker delivers the message in a formal setting, giving a topic that is thematic. Feedback from the audience may be available or not. Okay, example of public communication is a concert, or another one is a religious service. Another one is political debate, or maybe a court trial, because this is a face-to-face exchanges between people in situations where speaker and listeners role are relatively fixed. All right. Let's go to number 4, mass communication. Mass communication is communication that takes place through a technology such as network, internet, television, radio, and newspaper. Through these channels of communication, the message is replicated many times, resulting to a multiplier effect to the receivers. Speakers must be very careful of the kind of information being disseminated. The messages conveyed here must be screened prior to public dissemination. All right. Mass communication is a large and anonymous audience. It has large public dissemination. Example, news online. So before executing the news, you need to screen it properly before being shown it on national TV. Television evening news, no? Staff working for a newspaper. Mass communication is tantamount when we write letters to whom it may concern, because it is intended to many, no? That's why it's called mass communication. Let's go to Letter B, nonverbal communication. As I was saying a while back, it is an oversimplification to say that nonverbal communication is communication without words because written words are perceived as verbal, but there is a lack of sound element attached to it. 8 types of nonverbal communication. Silence. Okay. It is a conversation between two individuals. In a conversation between two individuals, a silent reply may signify the receiver does not understand or may refuse to answer at all if he keeps quiet. Okay, there is silence. Okay, so it is called nonverbal communication. Okay. Body language is number two. You know very well what a body language is: nodding of the head, blinking of an eye, waving of your hand, uh, etc. are examples of body language. Gestures, when you make actions, no words or no um, sounds coming out from the mouth. Two ways of a body language. Number one is unconscious movement, and the other one is conscious movement. From the word itself, unconscious movement, this is two ways of a body language. The state of emotion the person is undergoing, such as walking around for being bored, biting the fingernails for being nervous, or other activities done unconsciously. All right, these are unconscious movement. When we bite our nails, when we are afraid of something, when we walk around, when we got bored, these are unconscious movement that we just voluntarily do unconsciously. All right, let's go to conscious movement. This entails individuals to render the designated actions, such as saluting to the national flag, or appropriate actions to be rendered for specific activities. Conscious movement in the sense that we are obliged to do this to render action or the designated action as necessary. All right. Number three is facial expression. It is manifested to evoke certain emotions such as happiness, joyful, sad, frustration, and many other facial movements. Okay, we know this very well, know what facial expression is. Four, paralanguage or use of voice is detected in loud or faint sounds to provide authority to emphasis to the volume of the words. Number five, touch, hugging, kissing, handshaking in some cultures is a symbol of affection but may not allowed in certain communities. Okay, these are body language expression. Number six, space and distance indicates the importance of a person. Okay. Seven, clothes and personal appearance provides a quick personal surveillance of the person's age, interest, personality, sex, attitude, social standing, or religious affiliation. How do we look like when we dress? Or do we have personality, that development in us? Our personal appearance matters most. Okay, how do we look, how do we dress up. Number eight, symbols. These are general graphical presentations so that people will be guided accordingly, such as traffic sign, mathematical symbols or problems, medical and other fields of specialty. All right, let's go now to two kinds of communication: formal and informal communication. Communication involves the use of public speaking or mass communication, a combination of both verbal and nonverbal messages. Language is more precise, and the speaker is careful with grammar. A dress code, proper posture, and eye to eye contact are being taken into consideration. Number two, informal communication involves interpersonal and small group communication where people can be at ease and be more comfortable. During the interaction, less attention is given to nonverbal cues than eye to eye contact. Functions of communication: informing and conveying the message to the receivers through nonverbal and nonverbal engagements. Inform. Number two, persuading. persuading other people to agree with your ideas, opinions, and suggestions. Number three, integrating divisions and departments by building a communication network to achieve the goals and visions of the organization. Four, creating and establishing relationships within the group or outside the group. And fifth, helping in decision making within the family, friends, and members of the organization when crises or important matters arise. Number six, reducing misunderstanding and solving troubles among people. Now let's have another topic, how to talk that your listeners will listen. There are three to consider, three important factors affecting communication. One is speaker, two is message, and then the three is listener. Okay. Do we know that messages are received according to the mode of the receiver? How is this? Messages are received according to the mode of the receiver. Okay, this is very true because what is your mode as you receive the message? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you amenable with what the speaker is telling you, or are you an antagonist who disagree always? Or you have your own idea about it. So messages are received according to the mode of the receiver. As I was telling a while back, um, sometimes what is good for us may not be good for others. It depends on the perception of the receiver of the message. Okay. Number four modes of listener. Okay. In here, we will be able to know what kind of listener are you. Are you an auditory? Are you a visual? Are you a kinesthetic? Or are you a auditory? Okay. Number one, let's have first auditory. uh, I'll just give you a short background on what auditory people are, no? Before 1960s, the norm of entertainment was transistor radio. People listened with their ears. During that time, most people were auditory because they give more attention and focus to the voice of an artist. It doesn't matter whether the physical appearance is good or not, so long as the artist has a beautiful voice, he or she can be popular. He will become popular and become famous because of her or his voice. People that time idolize singers having good and beautiful voices. In the Philippines, we have Nora Honor, a singer and actress who doesn't have good looks but became famous and reached the peak of her career because of her beautiful voice. The other kind of listener is visual. Other kind of person, no? Visual. Okay, listen, if you are this one, no? After the 60s, there was a shift of mode from auditory to visual. Basis here is that you must be beautiful, sexy, you can dance gracefully, and you are good in acting. So, it was from auditory it became visual, no? After the 1960s. So what people can see matters most to them. Okay. So example, during the time movies of Charlie Chaplin. Okay. Number three, kinesthetics people. These people are particular with what touches their skin. Kinesthetic people wants comfortable and convenient ambience environment. Most of them are rich and well-off people. Odor for them is very important. Okay, I'll give example for kinesthetic people. People who wants to be always in the air conditioning room. These are kinesthetic people. They want to not to feel the heat of the sun. These are kinesthetic people. They are very particular of the fragrance of their co-workers or people whom they will be talking to. Right? These are kinesthetic people. Uh, um, Next, we have digital. This is the fourth kind of people. These people are not the people who are technologically inclined or IT people as we define digital this generation. These are poor people who are the exact opposite of the kinesthetic people. Digital people are price conscious. They are fond of asking how much is this, how much is that, before they buy something. They prefer more on quantity, not quality. Right? Example, son, ma'am, can you buy me this car? Can you buy this car for me? Or can you buy this one for me? The mom would answer, because the mom is a digital person, no, we can't afford to buy that. We can't afford to buy that one because it is expensive. Let's find the cheaper one. All right. So you assess yourself. Who are you to these four kinds of people? Are you a digital? Are you a kinesthetic? Are you a visual, or are you auditory? Are you an auditory? All right. If you have questions, you may ask me later during the question and answer portion. I will expound more on this. Okay. Let's go to the next topic. The three qualities of a good speaker. Number one, a good speaker needs to have a good bearing. What is bearing? Dress yourself according to the occasion. People will trust you according to your personality, appearance, and status in life. This is very true. They will not believe in you if you are wearing ragged clothes, you are not properly uh, dressed up, okay, and you are stinky, etc. Number two, voice. A good speaker must possess a voice that is loud and clearly understood, fitting and appropriate to the situation and occasion. Be communicative and speak your words, right? So if you talk, you need to consider, can the last person at the back hear your words, hear what you are saying? So you need to possess a good voice, which is loud and clear, pronouncing the words properly, and with proper intonation and pronunciation. So, next one is eye to eye contact. This is very important because our eyes can speak and communicate. Eyes are the windows of our soul. We can detect if someone is lying or not, or if he is sincere or not in his words by merely looking at his or her eyes. Okay. If you talk, say to it that you are looking at the eyes of the person. It's very important. Then there are seven messages on how we can make people listen. All right. How can we make people listen? Because according to research, we have very few minutes only to bear what the speaker is talking about. Okay. Okay. So these are the seven messages to help you on how we can make people listen to what we are saying. Number one, people listen to their friends. Okay, this is very true. Don't entertain the thought that people will listen to you if you come as an antagonist. If you disagree most of the time, you disapprove most of the time, you have your own ideas most of the time, you need to listen. Listen to your friends most especially. I do not care how much you care until I know how much you care. Example, if a mother asks her child, "Who am I to you?" The child will answer, "You are my mother." That is a mother and daughter relationship. What is included in that relationship? Of course, respect, because a daughter respects her mother. Okay, so the daughter listens to her mother. Okay, people listen to people they have relationship with. That's why the first thing that Jesus did is to build a relationship. Okay, number two, people listen to vision. Are we visionary? Are we visionaries? Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream, I have a vision." He did not tell us what to do. He just told us he has a dream. Question is, do you want to be part of a dream? Example, many children do not listen to their parents anymore during this time. Why? Because their parents seldom share a vision with them. Parents just say, "Son, daughter, study hard, finish your course," but fail to share vision to their children. Number three, allow them to see the bigger picture. When your children graduate, It is not enough for them to bring home diplomas, but what they've learned from their studies. Okay? Your good looks can give you a beautiful wife, but it is your character that it will keep your marriage. All right? Number 4, be accountable. Be responsible. Why? Because credibility is equal to competence plus character. You cannot be credible if you do not have competence as well as good character. Example, if you have a message to others, how sure are you that your listeners will believe and trust in your words? Are you credible? Are you trustworthy? Ask yourself. Number 5, people listen to inspiration, to beautiful and success stories. No one will listen to you if you always talk about problems. Yeah, that's very true. Be an inspiration, not a desperation. Okay, because if you talk too much about yourself, and problems most of the time, nobody would like to listen to you. They'll not be interested in your stories. Okay? There are three kinds of people. This is very nice, no? As we listen to people, when we communicate. Number one, uh, good people. Good people talks about progress. Okay. Another kind of people, average people talks about events. Poor people talks about people. In the Philippines, we call them marites. They talk a lot about other people. Um, they talk about people in the absence of that person involved. At the back of that person, they talk about that people. These are the kind of people considered poor people, because if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk further, walk together. Now, if you want to reach a destiny, walk with the right people. Whom are we walking today? Are we walking with the right people? Okay. Because 5 years from now, if we still have 5 years, our life will be dictated by the books we read, by the people we are with. Books we read meaning our mind, our thoughts. Okay. What is in our mind? What is in our thoughts? Because our thoughts will become our words will become our actions will become our habits will become our character, and our character will become our destiny. Okay. Number 6, remind people that life is short. From the Proverbs of the Holy Bible, it says that life is only 70, 80 for those who are strong. Whether we like it or not, time will come that we will not be able to do what we want to do because we will age. And the first sign of aging is we forgot names. We forget names. Okay, who are you? I know you, but I forgot your name. Okay, so that's the first sign of aging. Okay, you know the person, but you forgot his or her name. You have 5 children, you don't know their chronological order, who is the first, second, and third, and there you forget their names as you get old. Who are you? And the second sign of aging is you forget faces. Okay? That's why we call each other brother, sister, because we forgot faces and we forgot names. To be safe, we just say, hi brother, hi sister. All right? So the seventh one and the last one, remind people to be grateful. Why do people listen about gratitude? Because everybody wants to be appreciated. If you talk about gratitude, people will listen. Because the secret of a happy life is a grateful spirit. Yes, the secret of a happy life is a grateful spirit. And not all happy people are grateful. But all grateful people are happy. I repeat that. Not all happy people are grateful, but all grateful people are happy. Now, if your life is miserable, it means you grumble a lot, you complain a lot, and you don't listen anymore. You make everything has mistakes, everything has negativity in you. So your life will become miserable. You don't have appreciation. You need to be grateful. You need to be grateful not only to people. If you want people to listen to you, first and foremost, you need to be grateful to God, and everything will follow. Okay. So let's have activity now. My talk is done, and let's have activity now. It's titled "Guess the Tagline." Okay. What is just do it? You can write your answer on the comment box of the live stream. Okay? Just do it. Guess the tagline in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who says this? What brand is this? You can write your answer. Just do it in 1988. I'll give you sample ha. First try. It's Nike. All right? Okay. Just do it. The tagline, it's Nike. Number 2, melts in your mouth, not in your hands. Just to be awake. Are you still there? Are you still listening? What is this tagline? It melts in your mouth, not in your hands. In 1954. It is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. Very good. There are some who gets the correct answer. Very good. Let's keep going. What is this tagline? When it absolutely positively has to be there overnight in 1982. You can write your answer on the comment section. When it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. That is in 1982. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hurry up. We have prizes that awaits you. Okay, I'll make it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is FedEx. All right. Am I becoming so fast? Okay, I'll make it 10 at the count of 10. Oh. Let's have another tagline. What is this? Finger licking good in 1952. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finger licking good. What's this tagline? It's yes, KFC. Very good. There are some who got it right. Let's have another. Let your fingers do the walking. That's a yellow. Yellow, yellow. Let your fingers do the walking in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in 1964. This is purposive communication. What's this? Let your fingers do the walking. It's yellow. Yellow pages. Okay, let's have another one. The happiest place on earth in 1960s. The happiest place on earth in 1960s is, what's the happiest place on earth? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Disneyland. Have you been in Disneyland? Okay. Hope one day I can go there. Happiest place on earth. How about this tagline? Fly the friendly skies in 1966. Fly the friendly skies in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. United. Okay. Next tagline. Kills bugs dead in 1966. What's this? Kills bugs dead. What's this tagline? In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Type it now. Your answer should be, time is up, Raid. Okay. Okay. Next tagline. Share moments, share life in 1990s. What's this? What's this tagline? Share moments, share life. It's Kodak. All right. Let's go to the next one. Think outside the box, 1990s, and think different in 1998. What's this? Think outside the box, 1990s, think different in 1998. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Apple. Diba? Think outside the box, 1990s, think different, 1998, until this date. Next tagline. Reach out and touch someone, 1979. Reach out and touch someone in 1979. What's this? What's this tagline? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's AT&T. Let's have another one. Let's make it fast. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, 1972. The mind is a terrible thing to waste in 1972. What's this? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. It's United Negro College Fund. Next. Look ma, no cavities in 1958. What's this? It's one of our toothpaste. Q. Look ma, no cavities. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Crest. Sam answered Colgate. Next. We bring good things to life in 1981. What is this tagline? We bring good things to life. 1981. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is, time is up, GE. Diba? General Electric. Okay. Next, we have, they're great in 1950s. They are great in 1950s. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Kellogg's. Kellogg's. Next. Have it your way, 1970s. The answer is already there. This is a bonus. It's Burger King. Have it your way in 1970s. Let's go places. 2022, 2012, Toyota. Let's go places, no? Okay. I already showed the answer. Okay. Then, betcha can eat just one. Lies. Okay. And I'm loving it. McDonald's. I'm loving it. McDonald's. America runs on Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you for listening. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seekers. Surely, after a presentation, I hope our knowledge seekers can learn something new, which was our only intention: learn and grow together. IGP knowledge seekers. Once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for the presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question and answer session, which is one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we'll be back in our session part 2, which is our question and answer part. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from a speaker. Thank you. After question and answer, we have webinar certification and online quiz competition. There has been all of you. Please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from the speaker. Think of the question as a minute webinar certification and online quiz
Yes,
competition.
ma'am.
There has been all of you. Please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from the speaker. Think of the question as a minute webinar certification and online quiz competition. Our first question is, why is communication considered as the most important part of human interaction and learning?
Okay, ma'am, that's a very good question. No? Why is communication considered as the most important part of human interaction and learning? Communication is the most important part of human interaction and learning because I've said in my talk, in my discussion, that the oldest form of communication is talking or making sounds, drawing or painting, dancing, acting, and using symbols. So we communicate to others to express ourselves, what we feel, what we would like to inform them, what we would like to persuade, to convey the ideas from the idea to us, the speaker, and to our end users. And when speeches originated around 500,000 years ago, communication was the most important part of human interaction and learning. We learn to when we communicate, we learn as well when we interact. That's all, ma'am.
Once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topics. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable ma'am, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new day. Thank you, ma'am. Take care. There has been all of is time for the most engaging part of this event, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Participation process. Now time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now time for the online quiz competition properly. Please follow my instruction carefully. For some technical problems, you can continue our quiz from our website. So to join our quiz, you have to go www.slido.com and put the quiz code 6886829. After the short video, let's start our quiz session. With 22 people are going to start our quiz. First question is, what is your teacher's name in purposive communication? Option 1, Virgil Memonum. Option 2, Junior Memonum. Right answer is Virgil Memonum. 52% people are right here. In the leaderboard, first question is Genius, second is Paper, so third is People, third is Simile, fifth is Word. Purposive communication teaches completely. Option 1, Liesel Medina. Option 2, Elizabeth Crystal Medina. Right answer is my Elizabeth Crystal Medina. 97% people are right here. Here are the leaderboard. Third question is form of direct communication, that is a very purposive. Option 1, dialogue. Option 2, interviews. Right answer is interviews. 54% people are right here. Here is the leaderboard. Our fourth question is purposive communication develops the students' communicative competence and enhance cultural and intercultural awareness. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Right answer is true, and 20 people are right here. In the there is the leaderboard. Our fifth question is what is the most purposive function of communication? Option 1 information, option 2 motivation. Right answer is motivation. 3% people are right here. In the leaderboard, here is the leaderboard. Our sixth question is purposive communication requires us to express ourselves by writing and reading. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Right answer is false. 27% people are right here. Here is the leaderboard. Our seventh question is superlative messages and images reflecting different culture is very much essential to achieve a purposive communication. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Right answer is true. 93% people are right here. Here is the leaderboard. Eighth question is purposive communication has only four main purposes: to imagine, to express feelings, to imagine, and to influence. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Right answer is false. 41% people are right here. Here is the leaderboard. Ninth question is purposive communication is the subject in new curriculum anchored from safe memory modern 29 series of stages.